Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Talk Tottenham here. Welcome back to the channel here with your host, Tom. Guys, I'm going to be previewing tomorrow's home match against Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. For those eagle-eyed viewers and listeners out there, you will have noticed that I didn't do a video last week for the home match against Brighton. I was actually out of the country in France, but rest assured, guys, I watched the game and caught the highlights, and obviously, just like the rest of us Spurs fans, absolutely delighted with Brennan Johnson popping up in the last minute of that game, basically in the 96th minute to capture the 3 points for Spurs. Um, and it's put us fourth in the league. We're there, guys. We're on 47 points. Still 7 points off the leaders, and I think we've done really really well, haven't we? To hang in there and to you know we haven't really lost that much ground. With those front runners. Tomorrow's match against Wolves, we need to, this is a little bit of payback for me, guys. We lost that away match against Wolves earlier this season. We threw away that game, to be honest, 2-1 in injury time. But to be honest, we didn't play well in that game. It's one of the only games really this season that I've looked at Spurs and thought we just didn't turn up, didn't play our football, and Wolves kind of deserved, to be honest, they deserved it that day, but it felt sick, to be honest, guys, losing that game in stoppage time. So tomorrow we've got to we've got to do a number on them, guys. Really, we've got to pay back for that game, and I think if we can win tomorrow's game, it puts us in a great position. It really does. Um, some interesting other matches if you look at the other teams playing tomorrow. Obviously, Liverpool are at Brentford in the early kickoff. That's not going to be an easy game for Liverpool. Chelsea are at City in the other game, and obviously Arsenal are at Burnley as well. So probably imagine that City and Arsenal are going to win. But guys, all we can do we can do is just keep winning. We just have to worry about ourselves, and we can't take tomorrow's game lightly either, because Wolves have actually impressed me quite a lot this season. They obviously got a good win recently away at Chelsea. They won 4-2 at Stamford Bridge. So I think every time we've played Wolves in the Premier League since they've come up, they've always given us a battle, and we actually don't have a good record against Wolves. I saw a stat recently where I think they've actually won 3 out of the last 5 games at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So, and in Neto, I think they've got a brilliant player. I'd absolutely love Tottenham to go out and sign Neto. He's just so skillful. He's so good. And he's going to be Wolves for me, their danger man tomorrow when we play them. But they are a good team. They're always physical. They haven't got Adama Traore tomorrow. I know he's not at Wolves any longer, which is good because that guy always causes us. He's a real nuisance and a pain to play against. So it's good that Traore's not playing, but we know that they've got other threats in their team. Um, but the other disappointing thing, guys, is having just listened to Andrew's press conference just before doing this video. He did say that unfortunately, guys, Destiny Udogie picked up a knock in the last game. That means that he's going to be out injured. Pedro Porro also has picked up a strain as well, and he's going to be out for a couple of weeks as well. So we've actually lost both of our fullbacks for tomorrow's match, which is a real blow. Is a real blow, especially when you consider how important those fullbacks have been for Spurs this season. So Ange's got a decision. What will he do? Will he stay with the back four and bring in Royale and Davis, or would he switch to a back three, in which case he could bring in Radu Dragusin and play him in a three with Romero and Van de Ven? I'm not quite sure really what he'd do. To be honest, I mean we haven't seen a back three from Ange many times, if at all, this season. You have to let me know. Incidentally, if memory serves me right, I think we might have gone with a back three when we actually played at Molineux earlier this season. Because we were absolutely decimated, weren't we, with injuries back then? And I remember that Davis and Dyer came into the lineup, and I think, did we? If memory serves me right, we had a spell where we were playing Dyer, Emerson, and Davis in a back three. Christ, it does feel a long time ago saying that. It feels quite surreal that we are actually playing with that back three, but we were, weren't we, for a few weeks? And I know Emerson and Davis in particular stepped up and did really, really well in those games. So, as I say, Ange's got a decision tomorrow in terms of does he mess around with the formation, or does he go with the kind of tried and tested 4-3-3, or 4-4-1-2-3-1, whatever way you want to call it, really. Um, the other injury as well is Fraser Forster as well. He's actually picked up a knock as well, a foot injury, and that means that he's actually, according to Ange, he's going to be out for 2 months. So that's a shame. Um, because I know we haven't seen Forster at all this season, but it just means now that probably maybe Alfie Whiteman, the young academy goalkeeper, might have to step up and play, and be on the bench. Let's just hope nothing happens to Vicario. But guys, if we're looking at the formation, and the lineup for tomorrow's game, obviously Big Vic starts in goal for me. I am going to. I probably would change it to a back three. Actually, I don't like the thought of Emerson and Davis coming in as fullbacks. And the fact of the matter is, guys, we've got a fantastic player in Radu Dragusin who hasn't really had a look in um, at Spurs since he's been signed. So for me, I would. I don't know if Ange will, but I would go to a back three with Van de Ven, Dragusin, and Romero as that back three. Now, of course, Ange might have a completely different idea. He might play Amazon at right back, Davis at left back, and a defensive duo of Van de Ven and Romero. But for me, I'd quite like to see that back three. If we then look at the double pivot in midfield, I think Pat Matasar has to start. I thought he was absolutely brilliant, and it was so good to see him come on in the Brighton game. Well taken goal by Sarr, and I think we've really missed him since he's been at the AFCON. I think Sarr gives us something that none of the other midfielders do. It's just his energy. He's got bundles of it. He gets around the pitch. He's got a good finish on him as well. We saw that in the Bournemouth game when he buried that chance. And I just think that Sarr, he's been such an unsung hero this season with a lot of quality. And I'm going to partner him in the midfield, and I want us to see a return to the action for Yves Bissouma. Okay, so I would put Yves Bissouma back in, and take Rodrigo Bentancur out. Bentancur, it's been well documented that we haven't really seen him recapture that form that we saw sort of last season. And he did have a great display, didn't he, in the Man United game? But just in those last couple of weeks, I didn't really see him too much in the Everton game. And I know, apparently, the Brighton game last week, he wasn't really at the races. So I think it's time. Let's give him a rest. Let's bring Basuma in, and that Sarr Basuma partnership. We haven't seen that, guys. That duo playing together, have we? For what feels like an eternity. But they actually started the season off for us, and they were absolutely brilliant together. If you think back to the Arsenal away game, if you think back to the Liverpool game, and all of those early season performances, Basuma and Sarr were really, really good together. So I'd love to see them back together again, and I would want to see them in that double pivot. Moving forward to the front three, luckily Ange's got a few options, now, which is fantastic. Having the players back, the offensive players back. So for me, James Maddison comes in as that more advanced playmaker in that number 8 position. Just absolutely brilliant, isn't it, to see Maddison back? And then either side of him, and just got a bit of a decision to make, because we've got a few options now, haven't we? We've got the likes of Timo Werner. We've got obviously Kulusevski. He might want to play a Brennan Johnson out there. Obviously, you've got the likes of maybe Giovanni Lo Celso, who's just coming back to fitness now. Not to mention, the likes of Brian Hill, who probably won't even make the matchday squad tomorrow with the options, because we haven't even mentioned Skippy and Højbjerg in the midfield as well. But for me, I just think that Ange will. Obviously, Heung-min Son as well. Sonny for me gets that position back on the left hand side. What a pass! What an assist, by the way, for Brennan Johnson's goal in the last game. Only Sonny can do that. So for me, I think I would bring out Werner and put Son in that position. Nothing needs to be said about Sonny. He's just such a world-class player. We've missed him. We've really missed him in the last few games. And on that right-hand side, for me, it's a toss-up between, do you put Kulusevski there or Brennan Johnson? For me, I would probably put Johnson back in. I know he's a really, really good impact player off the bench, but I just don't know what's happened to Kulu in the last few weeks. To be honest, you have to go back quite a few games now to have really seen him in that blistering form. I mean, after the Forest game, when we won 2-0 away, and he got player of the match in that game, that led to Gary Neville coming out and basically saying that Kulusevski's like a sort of an £80 million player now. Ever since then, we've seen glimpses. He's a real talent, but I feel like he's second guessing himself and not making the impact that we know that he can. He doesn't shoot enough for me as well. He's got a brilliant left foot. We know the damage he can do. We know the goals that he scored, but I just feel like he's just a little bit low on confidence at the moment. Whereas Johnson is scored, I think, is it two in the last 3 games. He scored the winner against Brentford, the winner against Brighton last week. He should be confident, Johnson. So I quite like the balance of that midfield trio in those offensive positions: Son, Maddison, and Johnson. And then of course up top, you can't really leave Richarlison out at the moment. The guy's got 9 in 9, and should be looking to get in amongst the goals again tomorrow. Richarlison, for someone who I hold my hands up. I wrote Richarlison off, and even now, if I'm being honest, guys, and it might sound a bit harsh, I still don't think he's the answer. But having said that, you can't you can't deny that he's making an impact, and I am absolutely delighted for him. Because he has turned it around. And he is scoring goals. It's just whether or not he can sustain it. I've still got my doubts, but all the time that he's scoring, I'm really, really happy to be proved wrong. I mean, right now, fair play, and also, he does work hard. He does chase down the ball, and it's just sometimes even now with Richarlison, he's just not quite sure. Is his passing up to scratch sometimes? and people have said that his hold up play is really good. I'm still a little bit, the jury's out for me on his hold up play. Does it? Don't get me wrong, it's improved a hell of a lot. It really has, but I think he's still got some way to go. Sometimes it doesn't always stick with him. So guys, that would be my lineup tomorrow. What do you think? Do you think Ange will keep with his tried and tested back four, or do you like the sound of my back three? Let's just go through that lineup again. For me, I put Vicario in goal with a back three of Christian Romero, Radu Dragusin, and Mickey van der Ven. In front of them, I'd be playing an Yves Bissouma and a Pat Matassar, with James Maddison as the advanced midfielder, Heung-min Son to the left of him, Brennan Johnston to the right, with Richarlison up front. Now, guys, if that is the lineup, my prediction tomorrow is gonna be I think it's gonna be a tough game, guys. I don't think there's gonna be much in it. I'd love us to keep a clean sheet, but at the moment we just don't look confident at the back. So I do think Wolves are going to score, but I think that we will score more. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 Tottenham win. I'd love it to be more convincing, but we know what it's going to be like, guys. It's always a battle against Wolves. They do make it difficult. They'll probably score. And, at the moment, though, Spurs always score as well. What is it? Is it 37 league games that we've scored? I think it's a club record, consecutive games that Tottenham have scored, which is absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, I'm going with a 2-1 win. That would take us on to 50 points, which after 25 games is 2 points per game. If we carry on that type of record, we're going to end up on about 76 points by the end of the season. That should definitely, for me, that will be enough for Champions League football. And look, guys, we've got this game. We've then got a game against Palace, I think, in a couple of weeks' time after this. We're still there, guys. We're not going away. We're still only 7 or 8 points off the summit. All we need to do is just keep winning our games. Let's hang in there. The Premier League is an unpredictable league. Liverpool, Manchester City, and Arsenal, they're gonna drop points at some stage in between these games. It might be this weekend. We just need to be there, taking our chance, doing our business. And, we just got to worry about ourselves. And, I was listening to some other podcasts this week as well. And the way I see it, guys, is look, if we can hang in there at the top, take it down to kind of like the last 10 games of the season, if we can get to match day 28 and we're still 6 points, 7 points behind the leaders, for me, I think we're going to be in that title race, guys. For me, I think we're still there. We're not going away, and we've been in title races before, not all that long ago. Only about 5 or 6 years ago, we took it right to the wire. Why can't we do it again? We've got our players back fit. We just need to believe in ourselves, and let's just see if we can try and close down that gap. But obviously tomorrow is the next important game. It's not going to be easy. We've got to win it though, guys. Got to win tomorrow. Got to win against Palace in the next game. 6 points is a must. Get the 6 points. We'd be on 53 points after, what would that be, 26 games? I think we'd be banging it, guys. Absolutely banging it. So, guys, thank you very much for watching the video. Do let me know your score prediction tomorrow. Would you make any changes to my lineup? What do you think, guys? Let me know. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do give me a subscribe. It really, really helps. And also, if you like the video as well, give it a thumbs up. And of course, tomorrow after 5 o'clock. By the way, incidentally, great to see Spurs back at 3 o'clock. Obviously, we were at 3 o'clock last weekend. 3 o'clock this weekend. I absolutely love Saturday 3 o'clock games. It feels like it always used to be that way, but since the TV companies have come in and Sky and all the rest of it, Spurs are very very rarely on 3 o'clock games. But growing up as a kid following Spurs, I'd always be glued to whatever it was, final score or what they called it, and following the results at 3 o'clock on a Saturday, and I absolutely love it, guys. So yeah, I'll sign off now, guys. But come on, you Spurs, let's try and get the 3 points tomorrow and chase down that leading pack. As always, come on, you Spurs.